Well, welcome to the first virtual class at Iyengar Yoga Charlotte. And we're so grateful that you guys are willing to help us with a run through. We're going to go through a series of poses fairly quickly. I would suggest you get a mat, 2 to 3 blankets, couple of blocks. If you have 2 mats and you know you need the second one, get that, and a belt. And I'll give you a moment to get that together. In the meanwhile, I'm going to just go through the sutra for this week, which is Sutra 321, Kaya Rupa Samyama Tadgraya Sakti Stambe Chaksu Prakasha Samprayog Antardanam, disappearance or invisibility. Which I'll be doing as soon as William gets in front of the camera. So, perfect sutra. The sutra translation is fairly succinct. By control over the subtle body, the yogi can suspend at will the rays of light emanating from himself so that he becomes invisible to onlookers. He may, again, make himself visible by bringing back the power of perceptibility. I don't really have much more to say about that, really. So we'll begin with the invocation. Sit up straight and tall. Roll your upper arms back and bring your palms together in front of your chest. Lift your sternum from bottom to top. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam charirasya chavaijikena yoga karatam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi avahu parushakaram Shanga Chakra Siddharanam Sahasra Shirsam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Harihi Om. Bow your head, keeping the lift of your chest. Gaze into the center of the heart. And then release your hands to your thighs, palms up. Lift your head, slowly open your eyes. And so now William and I will exchange places, and we'll begin.
Well, there's one thing to keep an eye on here. You see this here where it says somebody is waiting to come in. Just keep an eye on that. You have to manually admit.
Okay.
I don't know how to make that.
Okay.
Do that automatically. We'll figure that out next time.
Okay. So on?
You're teaching. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to begin with a Virasana, hero pose. William's going to show the pose from the back. If this is an unfamiliar pose for you, you may want to take your 2 blocks. This would be the highest position that you would be. Over time, you will gradually, and over time, perhaps not tonight, but over the course of several weeks to months, you could gradually get all the way to the floor. And he's showing really just a speeded up real-time evolution there. Now, the only other alternative position would be if you are tight in the front of your ankles and you're just considering your death, put that second rolled mat, or it could be a blanket rolled up, and you'll put that under your buttocks. Now see how William is pulling his calves out and back so that he's sitting down. Okay? Do that. So now he's going to turn around and you're going to see him from the front. You'll see the front of your asana, and we're going to go through the shoulder sequence. So for the first pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reach your arms forward. Turn your triceps from the outside in. Reach out through your fingertips until your elbows are straight. Doesn't believe that my finger will
It's not a touch. Use the pad.
Oh. Got it. Got it. And then reach your arms straight up, lengthening through your inner arms, squeeze your outer arms in, and extend up through your fingertips. Lengthen from your inner shoulder up through the fingers, and drop the shoulder blades down the back, soften the neck. Continue to feel that your abdomen is releasing down so that your buttocks continue to release down to your support, whether it's the floor, whether it's the block, or a rolled mat. Take a couple of breaths, continuing to extend up. And then on exhalation, slowly lower your arms all the way back down. Next pose still in Virasana will be Parvatasana. Clasp your hands. Turn your palms to face me or to face the camera. Yeah. You can imagine where I am. And on an inhalation, extend your arms up toward the ceiling. Still turning your triceps from the outside in, reaching up. Let's see that both arms are lengthening equally. See that both hands are extending. Now, as you press up more through the index finger side of your hand, pull the pinky finger side of your hand down. Continue to drop the shoulders down the back. Lift the collarbones. And you can feel how in this position it's a little easier because you have the clasp of your hands to reach your arms. Then lower your arms slowly. Look at the clasp, turn your palms, look at the clasp of your hands, and then reclasp so that the opposite thumb is on top. And you can see how William did that. Now turn your palms again to face this way, and then on the inhalation, reach up again, extending once more through your inner arms. As you squeeze your outer arms, continue to feel that your triceps are moving from the outside in. Keep lengthening away from your shoulders and press up through your inner hand. Pull the pinky finger side of your hands down. Release the navel back. Breathe even. And then release your hands back down on an exhalation. The next pose, still in Virasana, will be Gomukhasana arms, or cow face arms. William will turn around so that you can see the position of the hands. We'll show it first without a belt. Those of you who need a belt can take the belt in the right hand and just drop it down in the back and you'll be able to grab it. Okay? And then he's going to turn around and we'll do it together. Of course, those of you who are familiar with Gomukhasana legs could insert that now if that were your preference. So all of us together now will reach the right arm, turn your tricep from the outside in, reach your right arm up, bend your elbow, drop your hand down your back. Reach your left arm out, turn your shoulder forward, and bring your hand around and make the clasp. If your fingers don't touch for the first time, again, you needn't take a belt if you just continue to reach. Now, if you look, you can see that William's chest is even. Don't be distracted by, a wrinkle in a shirt or anything. So what you're looking for is that lift of the collarbones from both sides equally. Both sides of his waist are equally long. As he now has made the clasp, or as you are holding on to something, if you are holding on to something, you can stretch your right elbow up and your left elbow down simultaneously in a way that doesn't distort the alignment of your chest. Take a couple more breaths. And then release. Bring the right arm up and out and the left arm out and down. Now, second side will be the left arm up and your right arm behind. So still, the armpit of your left arm up will be still turning from the outside in. Your right shoulder will be turning slightly toward me. Once you've made your clasp, once again, keep that balance between the left and right side of your chest and stretch your elbows away from each other. Use that action of stretching the elbows away from each other on this second side to give you more lift in the chest, more lift of the side chest. Feel your collarbones now broadening and expanding and lifting. Take a couple more breaths. And then on an exhalation, release your arms and come out of the pose. To come out, you can come forward and cross your ankles and roll across your feet the way that William is showing now, or you can come by just shifting your feet to the side. So come back into the arms. And you can just shift your feet to the side and just sit back and stretch your legs out. Some people's ankles won't give them that space. So now the next pose will be Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog with the head supported on a block. So come to your hands and knees. Place your hands in line with your shoulders and your knees in line with your hips. Your block will be halfway between your hands and your knees. As you press down through your inner palm, lengthen up through your inner arms and feel not just that your back is moving up, but that your front chest is lifting. Let your front chest lift more. Draw your abdomen up and in and tuck your toes.
Now push your hands forward and down onto the mat, and on the exhalation, lift your buttocks and straighten your legs and go back. You can see that William arranged his block in the same line as his mat, which gives him a little bit longer landing field for his head. You're trying to get not so much the forehead, but the very top of your head. And you can see, if you glanced up, that William was close to his forehead, but now he's moved the block and he's more on the part of the head that he would be on if he were doing headstand. Continuing to reach the arms, continuing to turn the triceps from the outside in. As you extend your arms, that length goes all the way up to your buttocks, through the side trunk, through that wonderful extension of your spine. Take several breaths there. Try not to dismay if your back of your hamstrings are speaking to you in a language that you understand very well. But do try to keep your legs straight. If your hamstrings are so tight that you want to bend your knees, you'll lift up through your heels to take your buttocks higher, so that still you'll come back to a straight leg position. Then, with the reach of the arms and the press of the thighs back, from the very top of the thighs, not moving from the knee or from the calf, you may then begin to stretch your heels back and start to lower your heels toward the floor again. Whether you hit the floor tonight or not is really not our biggest goal. Take a couple more breaths there. And notice as you are in this pose, if you can, with the exception of the vocalization that your hamstrings are likely making, has your mind gotten quieter? So often when we put our head on a block, one of the things that we're doing is quieting the brain, calming down the nervous system, in addition to stimulating those glands that are in the center of it. And then when you go to come down, you'll just bend your knees, and on an exhalation, you'll lower yourself down. Now, you'll take your knees apart and your toes together and reach your arms, still continue to reach your arms forward. Your block, if your head doesn't come easily to the floor, could be supporting your forehead. And take a couple of breaths there, continuing to lift your forearm and extend your arms so that you are getting more of that extension of the spine that you began with dog, but now that there's no pressure on your hands, you may find that you can feel your buttocks pushing back. Just 2 more breaths. And then inhale, push your hands into the floor, come up, and come to standing in the center of your mat. The next pose is Tadasana, or mountain pose. So bring your feet close together. Join at least the big toes. And then pick up your heels and stretch back across the balls of the feet and across the sole of the feet. Stretch the heel back. Now squeeze your outer calf in and squeeze your outer hips in and press your inner knees out. And notice that even though initially you may feel that you're riding on your feet, the truth is really at this point that we're riding on our hips. And as you extend down into the soles of the feet, feel there's that rebound of extension up. Now come back to Urdhva Hastasana, reaching your arms up toward the ceiling, and then on the exhalation, bend your knees and come to Utkatasana. So when you look at William from the front, you can see that he's lifting his chest and looking up between his arms. And now William, can you show from the side? And when you look at him from the side, you can really see how much he has to come down, and how the waist has to come back, and the chest comes up. And then come back up and face the front of the room. And if you've done both of those, you have one more. And let's go again. Reach the arms, inhale, press down through your feet, and on the exhalation, lower your buttocks. Keep lifting your chest, look up between your arms. So when Mr. Iyengar talks about this pose in Ladon Yoga, he says, it will be difficult to hold the balance. What he means is that you will be taking your hips back so far that you feel as if you might flip over backwards. And then inhale, come back up. And release your arms. The next pose will be Garudasana, just the arms. So you're going to bring your arms up and swing your right arm across your left arm. Now lift your elbows up, and you can see how you can see that William has his elbows at a 90-degree angle, and his elbows are at the level of his shoulder. Now, from here, watch for a second while he extends out through the forearm. Good. And then pulls the shoulders down and pushes the chest up between his arms. And then release. So we'll be doing that pose to both sides. Come back to Tadasana. Swing your arms up, bring your right arm across. Press your forearms forward. Your deltoid will be turning from the inside out. As you push out through your forearms, feel there's a broadness that comes across your shoulder blades. There's a spacing that comes between your shoulder blades and your spine. Push out. Then, as you turn your deltoid more, push your chest up between your arms. Push it. And when you've held that for a moment, you'll feel that there's a little more push. So that when you push up, you're literally moving your collarbone up. And then release. And then bring your left arm across. Same thing. Lift your elbows up to the shoulder height, and then extend your forearms forward until you're at a right angle. Then pull down on out from your inner deltoid to your outer deltoid, and push up through your arms. So your chest, you're trying to move through that triangle of your arm. Push up and move. This pose gives you such a great opportunity to stretch that upper trapezium, the upper edge of the trapezius muscle, so that all of the work at your desk, home work, will be helping you to release that. And then on the exhalation, release. Come back to Tadasana. The next pose will be the legs for Garudasana. So you'll bend your knees, trying to come down to that same position that we did in Utkatasana. And then you're going to bring your right leg over. And if you can cross your ankle around the back of your foot, so that the pelvis is straight ahead. So that's the position of the legs. Can you show that once to the side, William? So it'll be the far side leg up. So you can see how that's going to look. Okay? So now let's go. So face forward. I didn't mention that we were going to do it with the arms while we're doing that. So that's the surprise, right? So now bring your left arm on top of your right arm. So you're doing the same position with your arms that you did a moment ago. Now bend your knees and bring your left leg up. Good. And balance, drawing your hips in. Now, as you extend your forearms forward and you push your chest up between that triangle of your arms, take another couple of breaths, and then exhale and release, second side.
I was trying to mirror.
Yeah.
Should I? Okay.
No, it's fine. So that was right arm over and left leg over.
Yeah.
And so now it'll be left arm over and right leg over. It'll be right arm over and left leg over. Or the one that you have not already done. Balance on that one leg. Draw the hips in. So one of the things you'll find is that the hip of the top leg will try to pull forward. And you can see William has just a toe kind of caught. It's a progressive thing. So see how he's resting and balancing his toe on the floor? You can do that. Nice way to show how to do that. One more breath, and then exhale and release. So we're doing a few balancing poses tonight. The next one is going to be Vrikshasana, tree pose. So now press down into both feet from Tadasana. Draw your outer hips in. Lift your chest. Turn your right leg out. And bring your right leg up. Place it to the inside of your left thigh. As you release from your right inner groin to your inner knee, pull back from your outer knee to your outer hip. And you can see in this position how William's hips are level. Now bring your palms together in front of your chest and bring your hands behind your head. Squeeze your elbows in. And as you reach your arms up, even though you can't see William's arms, you can imagine for yourself how you're continuing to turn the triceps from the outside in and reaching through both fingertips. Now keep anchoring down into the standing flow. And then release. On an exhalation, release the arms, release the legs, and come back to Tadasana. Take a breath there. And then inhale. And on the exhalation, bring your left leg up. Press your left foot into your right thigh. Press your right thigh into your left foot. If you're finding difficulty with your balance, bring your hands and place them just above your abdomen. That will often help you find some balance. Once you have your balance, bring your palms together in front of the chest. Bring your hands behind your head, squeeze your elbows in, and then inhale, reach up. If you find you're losing your balance, if you look at William, you can see how you can still work the hip and have one foot balanced on the floor. So you're learning that balance even if the balance is not fully there for you yet. And then you could bring your foot up to the ankle and begin that journey up the leg. And then exhale, release the arms and release the legs. Last of the balancing poses for tonight will be Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So you will stand in Tadasana and jump or step your feet apart 4.5, 5 feet. You'll need a block placed to the right side of your mat. Be alert to not putting a block on the left side of your mat in preparation of going to the other side, because if you step your left foot down on it, you won't really love it. Reach your arms, turn your right thigh out, turn your left foot in slightly. Now reach out through the sole of the foot and have your block in a position to the outside of your right calf. So we're going to do this in the classical way today, going from Trikonasana into Ardha Chandrasana. So reach both arms, make sure your arms are level. And reach from fingertip to fingertip. Now draw your left hip in, and on the exhalation, extend out across your right leg. Get both sides of your trunk equally long. Press down into your right hand and reach your left hand away from it. You'll notice that if you look at William, there's a little bit of weight on his right shoulder. Watch when he pushes down into that right hand, how the left arm goes, how the left arm reaches away. So again, we're using that idea of pushing down into something to give us extension. Now, you're going to bend your right knee, bring your left hand to your left hip, walk your right hand out, and step your left foot forward. Place your hand on the block, and then shift to come up. Probably best that you have your block on a mat unless you are stable and secure. Now, from here, balance on that right leg, pulling up from your right outer knee to your outer hip, and lengthening out through your left inner leg. As you reach down into your right arm, keep your hand on your hip for a moment, and open your chest. So use that arm to help you open your chest. Then when the chest opens, good, reach up to the left arm. And then inhale, and on the exhalation, bend your right knee, pull your block back with you, and come to that bent knee position. And then once more, straighten your right leg, and you'll be back in triangle position. If your legs, now, as you come up, don't move your feet, but bring yourself all the way up on an inhalation. Look at your feet, and if they're not in the same position as they were when you started, you'll adjust them there. We're going to the second side. Turn your right foot forward, take your block, and turn your left leg out. Reach your arms and extend from fingertip to fingertip. Now, look to see. If you look at William, you can see his trunk is even. Both thighs are turning out well. You can see that. Now, the one thing that you can, as you pull those triceps in and you extend your arms, you get more and more length through the arm. On the exhalation now, extend the left side of your trunk, keeping the right hip in, and bring your left hand down to the block. It can be in the high position in place to the outside of your left hip. Now bend your left knee and come to that right ankle position and move your block forward and bring your hands to your hip. Now reach your hand out with the block and step your left foot in. You can do one or the other or together. Then shift your weight onto your hand and your right foot and bring your left leg up. Right leg up, sorry, right leg up, second side, sorry, yes, right leg up, second side. Now, extend out through that right inner leg, press down through your left hand, and reach up through that left arm. Take a breath. And keep that lifted leg extending as you bend your left knee. Extend back through that right leg and come to that right angle position with your knee. And then drag your block back, come back into triangle pose, continuing to press that left heel, and then inhale, come back up. And then once more, look at the placement of your feet. If they're not the way you started, then you adjust them now. And you'll gradually learn to create that symmetry in this pose. It's actually 3 poses that you just done. Then turn your feet parallel, step your legs together. The next pose is going to be Uttanasana with 2 blocks. William will show that from the side. Feet are hip width apart. Blocks are about shoulder width apart. You're going to roll your chest open, roll your elbows back, and watch when he folds forward how he's just going to at first place his hands on the blocks. And even those of you who know that getting to Uttanasana without the blocks, for tonight, because of the next pose, you'll do better if you stay on your blocks. You can see if you look at him briefly that the legs are perpendicular to the floor and his back is concave. The bottom of the shoulder blades are moving into the back ribs and the front chest is lifted. Good, and you can see he improves that as he holds that. Now, if you want a little more support, which you're going to need in a moment, you're going to draw your outer hips in and press down through the sole of the foot. Okay? And we'll come up and we'll go together. If you were following along and doing that with him, now you get a chance to do again. Yeah. Bring your hands to your top of your buttocks, roll your upper arms back, and stretch up through the side chest. Keep stretching down and back through the elbows. Now, when you do that, you already begin to feel the shoulder blades coming onto the back ribs. From your outer hips, press down through the sole of the foot, and on the exhalation, extend forward. Those of you who like to hyperextend your knees, now would be a chance to check that. And by check it, I really just mean stop. So that your thighs are perpendicular to the floor, your hips are directly over your ankles. Lift your head and chest, make your back concave, and lift, extending up as you press down into the block, lengthen up through your inner arm. Turn your armpits from the back to the front, move your chest forward. You'll be looking slightly ahead, but don't crank your neck. And now bring your hands back to the hips, back to the buttocks, tuck your buttocks and come back up. Now you're going to put your blocks, if you had them the way William did, you're going to move your blocks to the end of your mat the way that he has now. And you're going to come back to that, and we're going to bring one leg up. So we'll be doing a variation of Virabhadrasana 3, which would be another of the balance poses. So the distance away from your block is really related to the length of your trunk. So once again, roll your bring your hands to the top of the buttocks, roll your upper arms back, stretch down and back through your elbows, and exhale, extend forward. Bring your hands to your blocks in the high position. Adjust them as you need to ensure that your arms are vertical. Feet should be close together. Cut the bottom of the shoulder blades into the back ribs, draw your abs in, and stand down into your right foot. Then, on an exhalation, bring your left leg up. Stretching back through your inner thigh. Draw back on your right outer hip. Good. Now, extend out through the toes. Point the toes of your left foot. And really extend the left. You can see, if you look at William, that the hips are level. So that the left leg, as it comes up, the hip doesn't lift. It's really from the inner thigh. And then lower that leg and place it down beside your right foot. We'll go directly to the second side. Press down into your left foot. Keep lifting the chest and bring your right leg up. Lifting from the inner thigh. Yeah, the outer hip drops. Now lengthen from the buttock bone through the sole of the foot and finally through the extension of that leg all the way out through the toes. Good, reach your toes. Good. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, like that. That's what we're talking about. Now, continue lengthening the leg. Keep it in line with the hip. Lifting the foot slightly lower, but keep extending. Keep extending through the front of the spine. Work the hips to hold this up. And then slowly lower the leg. Bring your hands to your hips. Tuck your buttocks and come all the way back up. So if you were having trouble getting your leg up to the height of your hip, I think we need to just turn them in quickly. And put your blocks to be about 3/4 of the way towards the front of the nail. Again, this will be related to the length of your trunk and your leg. You could come down the same way, place your hands on the block, and don't swing it up hard, but bring your left leg up to the wall. And then and you see how he has to sort of in real time adjust himself. But from here, he's able to push his foot into the wall. And then release. And do the second side. So now standing with your left foot on the floor, bring your right leg up and push into your sole of your right foot. From your buttock, lengthen out. The thing you may notice is that your waist, when your right leg is back, will tend to drop. Lift your waist up. Extend from your buttock down to the sole of the foot. And then lower. And bring your hands to your hips. And inhale, come back up. And turn your nail again. So now we're going to do a few back bends. So the first of the back bends tonight will be Setu Bandha Sarvangasana on a block. So if you watch William, you can see how that's going to go. So he's lying flat on his back. He's bent his knees so that his heels are close to his buttocks. As he pushes to come up, he's pushing not with his back, but from the buttocks and from the pressure of pushing his feet into the floor. Then when he pushes up, he'll place the block under the sacrum. If he couldn't get the block under the sacrum, he could either lift his heels to get a little higher, place the block, and then lower the heels, and it would be there. For those of you who have difficulty, you could be in the lower position of the block. And come all the way out of that, William. And if you were somewhere between the two of them, you could take a blanket and fold it and put it under your shoulders. See how he's folding the blanket so that it's a long piece. Then his head will be off of that. His shoulders will be on. That would give him a little bit of extra lift. He doesn't really need it, but you may find that this is the perfect solution for you. So take your choice of how you're going to get into Setu Sarvangasana on the block, supported on the block. And lie on your back, pressing down through your outer arms, through the back of the arms, lengthening away from your shoulders with your arm. Then, feet hip width apart and parallel. Push your buttocks up. Push your feet into the floor. And then reach to take your block and place the block under your sacrum. If for any reason you find the block going down the length of the sacrum is uncomfortable, you can certainly turn it the opposite direction so that the narrow side of the block is the way that William is showing now. If you're comfortable, I would put it, if you're going to reach your legs out, I would keep it in the position that is down the length of the spine. Then you can either grab the edges of your mat or just continue to push down through your arms and gradually start to, as you pull on the mat, open your chest more. So you're moving your chest towards your chin. Automatically, your legs start to want to move. Start to walk your legs out toward the end of the mat. Your legs may straighten or they may not. Most of you will not have your whole foot on the floor. If you get to the point that you think you can straighten, first you will take your toes toward the ceiling and push out through the sole of the foot the way that William is showing now. Then you can keep that length of the leg and gradually begin to bring the foot in. Continuing to open the chest and move the bottom of the shoulder blades into the back of the ribs. Don't dig your chin, but keep your chest moving toward your chin. If you're doing the pose with your knees bent, stay there. If you're doing the pose with your legs straight, walk your feet back into a bent knee position. Let go of your mat and press your arms down into the floor again. And without gripping your back waist or your kidneys, push from the buttocks by pushing the feet into the floor to lift up off of the block. If you need to pick up your heels, pick your heels up, and then remove the block and lower your heels, and then lower your back. Now, the advantage that we get of being able to use the block is that it offers us the opportunity to hold the pose longer without as much work. When you have to hold the pose yourself without the block, you probably will hold it a little less time, shorter duration. We're going to go to that position now, but we're going to do it with the hands clasped behind the back. So you're going to roll to one shoulder. So watch as William rolls onto one shoulder, rolls an arm under, then rolls the other arm, rolls onto that arm, and rolls the other arm under, and then clasps his hands under his buttocks. Then he picked his buttocks up so that he could get there. From there, he still has to turn those outer arms more and more toward the floor because it will give him more lift through the chest. Then from there, he can push his hips up. And that lift, again, is not from the kidney, but from the pressure of the arms pressing down to bring the shoulder blades to a vertical position and the action of the feet pressing into the floor to help give you the lift of the body. The kidneys, quiet and soft. Come into that pose and hold. Notice if you want to dig your chin, you will relax the neck, but continue to move the chest towards the chin. Keep pressing down through your arms. Keep lengthening through your knuckles. Coming more and more to what Mr. Iyengar called that knife edge of your shoulder blade, that top edge. Now, those of you who can go a little further can lift your heels, walk in, take your buttocks higher, and if you can keep your tailbone up, you may be able to bend your elbows and bring your hands onto your back. If you can't, you'll stay there. And of course, at any point, if you need to come down, you come down. In this position now, you can see that William he has that flexibility to get his hands in that position. It gives him more lift through the chest, as it will give you. And then release and come back down. Now, if you didn't make it onto your back with your hands, you can take the blocks and put them under your feet. This will give you height, will also help you keep your feet parallel so that if you were tending to narrow the back of the thigh or squeeze the buttocks in, it will keep your feet honest for you. Then when you push up, your legs are so long, it's going to immediately give you a greater height. And even William just finds how easy it is then to get himself onto that back waist. So give that a try to see if it gives you enough height. And again, if it doesn't happen tonight, the future is coming quickly. And then push up again, release your hands, lower your buttocks, and remove the block. The next of the back bends for tonight is Shalabhasana, or locust position. William's going to do it on his abdomen with his hands clasped behind his back. So we just did this position with the arms. Now, watch for a moment how he moves his upper arms toward the ceiling. So show that, just the upper arms. So drop your upper arm. And see how he's pushing that up toward the ceiling. See how he's lifting that. That gives him more space through that armpit chest. Now, as he reaches back through his knuckles, it gives him lift through the front chest. So we're using the arms to help us. Now he can bring his hands up off of the buttocks a little bit, and then from the buttock back through the legs, he extends. And then exhale, come in. Find a position for yourself where you feel no discomfort in your lower back, where your buttock is moving away from your back waist or from your lumbar. If you have any discomfort with your pubic bone on the floor, you'll take a blanket and open that under your pelvis. So as you're getting set up, once you get on the floor, reach each leg back to release the skin on the front of the thigh and to open up the back of the thigh from the inside out, so that you're not squeezing your back thighs together, but you're actually now at this point broadening the back of the thigh, and by doing that, broadening across your sacrum. Now clasp your hands behind you. If it's not possible, you can take a belt and hold onto a belt. Roll your upper arms toward the ceiling, stretch back through your knuckles to help you lift the chest, and then bring your chest up and bring your legs up, extending in two directions. Squeeze your outer ankles in to bring the feet closer. And then exhale, lower the legs, lower the trunk. Turn your toes inward, your heels apart, bring your arms up to make a pillow for your head. And come again, back to Shalabhasana. Once more. This time you can clasp the opposite thumb. If you're not sure which one you did, just clasp your hands. That's the one you did the first time. Then change that clasp to the opposite. Roll your upper arms toward the ceiling. Straighten your elbows and reach back through your knuckles to lift your chest. Feel the chest extending forward. Extend your legs and reach back through your legs. Not bending your knee, keeping your legs straight. And then exhale, release. Keep your hands clasped behind your back. Last one. Roll your upper arms toward the ceiling. Stretch back through your knuckles. Lift your chest. Move your buttocks away from your lumbar. Extend your legs. Reach back through the toes and squeeze your outer ankles in. Keep breathing. The breathing will be different because you're lying on your abdomen, but do keep breathing. And then exhale and release. Once more, toes towards each other, heels apart, forehead makes a pillow. Forearms make a pillow for your head. Then roll to your side and come to a seated position and watch for a moment if you are not familiar with Ustrasana or camel pose. Let's have you do it to the side first, William, to show the arch. So you can bring your feet a little bit apart and make it easier. If you have discomfort kneeling, take a blanket and put it under your legs, especially if you're on a hard floor. Your feet are a little bit wider than hip width. Your knees will be about hip width. Now, as you lift your chest, press down through your shins, go up from the bottom of the sternum to the top, and then watch as William brings his hands down the back of the thighs, back the calf, and down onto the back of the heel. Now from there, he pushes his hands into the heels to push the chest higher. Okay. Come back up, William. Show how to do that with blocks. You'll have to move back on your blanket so that the blocks are on your mat. If you don't think, or if you aren't going to be able to reach your heels, this is a great way to get a little higher. Same thing when he puts his hands on the blocks, he pushes his chest up. Push your chest up, William. Press your thighs forward. More. Good, like that. And then when he goes to come back up, buttocks continue to descend down, front chest comes up. He just rides up. Okay? So here we go, all together now. Get yourself set up. Press your shins down. Reach back through your big toes. Stretch up through the front of the thighs. Draw your back thighs in toward the button, not toward the center line, but forward toward the button. Lift your chest, stretch down and back through your elbows. Bring your hands onto your buttocks. Keep lifting your chest. You're going higher. You're lifting more. The side chest is lifting. Then slide your hands down the back of the thighs. If you get to your knees, slide your hands back and bring your hands onto your heels. Push your chest up. Use the action of the hands pressing down into your heels to give you more lift through your chest. And then push and come back up. And if you're comfortable sitting back on your heels, you can sit straight back on your heels. If for any reason that's not comfortable, you can take a blanket and lay the blanket on top of your heels so that you have a small platform for yourself. Let's do one more showing how to put the hands on the heels and come straight up from a seated position. You can do that, right? Is that comfortable for you? If it's not comfortable for anyone, for your knees in any way, you can start at a higher position with your hands on the block, and it makes it really easy to come up. Show that. And so when he pushes down, the thing that this allows you to do is to get your shins really firmly down on the floor, squarely in. And then he can come back. He can come up from there, or he could come back down the same way that he had come up. Okay? So we're going to do maybe 2 more of these. So you can try coming up from the floor the way William showed. The nice thing about that is you do feel that foundation firmly established in the toes. And you don't have to try to get to your heels. You start out with your heels. Then from there, press your shins down more. Press your thighs forward. Keep your buttocks moving down. If you find your buttocks lifting towards your back waist, come out, descend the buttocks, and go again. And come out of your pose, either coming back down or from the position where you're releasing down. And then last one of these camel poses. Either push yourself up or release yourself down. Hands touching the heels or your blocks. Push into that to give yourself a lift through that area of the chest that Mr. Iyengar calls the armpit chest, where the intersection of your armpit and your chest comes. Good, better way. And lift up through the sternum, the center of the sternum, push it toward the ceiling. You can relax your neck back and then inhale, come all the way back up and sit back down. Now, for those of you who have difficulty with your neck, for any reason, putting your head back like that might be difficult. William's going to show how to continue to look forward without letting your head come back. Those of you who are bringing your head is going back last. So you might not go all the way, right? You might work here. A nice interim stage to be able to do. And then come back up, William. Thank you. And the next pose is going to be Marichyasana. So you'll take a trifold, sit on a trifold. And you can see how William is sitting just balanced with his buttock bones on the lip. We're going to bring the right leg in first. The heel will be in line with the buttock bone. The right outer hip will try to lift. Take the right outer hip down. Now put your hands to the front of your shins, lift your chest, and drop your shoulder blades down the back. And you can see if you look at your screen that William's trunk is even. And then we release and do the other side. We're just going to do the leg first and then we'll come to the twist. Bring your left leg in. Hold the front of the shin, line your heel with your buttock bone. Your right leg is in Dandasana. Extended, touching the floor, calf squeezing in. Now, with your hands to the front of your shin, pull to lift your chest. And when your hands pull on that shin, feel the shoulder blades come onto the back body. Touch the shoulder blades well to the back body. And use that action of the shoulder blades on the back body to lift up through the collarbones and to get even more broadness as the side armpit chest. And then you'll release that left leg and stretch your right leg out. And bring your right leg in. Sorry. I think I'm going to ask you to turn. Watch how William does the twist now. Yeah. How he brings. So we'll be bringing the right leg in. He's holding on with the hands. He's lifting his chest. Now he's going to bring the right hand behind, and he's going to hold on with the left hand and turn. So that's the next stage. Then the following stage will be to bring the left arm up and hook it across the right knee. Now he has to lean into that to keep the chest up. So that means he has to stand into that right foot, cut the shoulder blades onto the back body, and lift his chest. Okay? That's what we're going to do. That makes sense. All right, here we go. From Dandasana, stretch both legs out, and then bring your right leg in. Bring your hands to the front of your shin and use that to help you anchor the shoulder blades on your back body. Lift the collarbones up, lift the side chest up. Now continue to hold with your left hand and swing your right hand behind you. You're moving your left side chest towards your right inner knee. Turn. Draw your hips in to give you more opportunity to twist. So as you squeeze your hips in, it's not that you have to pull yourself around, it's that you let the hips do the work. And then release. And stretch your right leg out and bring your left leg in. And grab your top of your shin. Hold with your right hand, bring your left hand around. Keep your right leg long. Keep your left foot pressing into the floor. Drop your shoulder blades down the back. Drop your right shoulder blade. Yes. Lift your right collarbone up. And turn, not by pulling yourself around, but by drawing the hips in. Feel, when you squeeze the hips in, your abdomen automatically gives an easy twist. Take that easy twist. And then release. Come back out. Draw your right leg in. Reach your left arm up. Hook your left arm across your right leg. Bring your right hand behind you. Now cut the bottom of your shoulder blade into the back of the ribs. Touch that. Touch that left shoulder blade in and lift up through the front of the chest. Feel how you're leaning forward towards the, so keep yourself, upright. Turn. Drawing your hips in, turn more. And then release. Stretch your right leg forward and your left leg in. Press into the sole of your left foot. Keep your right leg in Dandasana. Right leg in Dandasana. Reach up through your right arm. Get that length of the right side of your trunk, and on an exhalation, hook your arm across your leg. Now squeeze your hips in. Cut your shoulder blades onto the back body, lift your chest, and twist. Breathing. Let yourself twist. An easy twist without just cranking yourself with your trunk, but rather using the action of the hips to help you get around. And then inhale, and on the exhalation, release back out. And stretch your legs straight ahead. And let's come to Dandasana. If you will turn to the side, William. So Dandasana, rod or staff pose. Now we're getting people waiting.
You just join away.
I know, but I'm wondering if they got knocked off. They could have. So from here, extend your legs, draw your outer calf in from your buttock bone, extend out through the sole of your foot. Lift your chest. Now reach up through your arms. And on an exhalation, from your hips, fold forward and reach out and grab your toe. Grab your big toe with your middle finger, index finger, and thumb, and lift your chest. Now, if you see William, so you can show that again, William. So watch as he grabs the toes, how he uses his foot to help him lift his chest. Good, you see that, I know you did. If he couldn't reach his foot, show the belt please, he would just take his belt and hold the belt. Still, the belt does exactly the same thing as the foot. It's a surrogate for the foot, so it allows you to lift your chest. Okay? So, all together. Stretch out through your legs, squeeze your outer calf in, stretch out through your inner foot. Inhale and exhale. Now reach your arms, inhale, and on an exhalation, extend out and grab your toes or your belt. Pull to lift your chest. Notice if your thighs are releasing from the floor. Press your thighs down. Couple more breaths, lifting your chest even more, moving from the bottom of the sternum to the top, cutting the shoulder blades onto the back ribs. And then exhale, release, and bend your knees. And then you're going to lie back for the last pose, which is Shavasana. So with your knees bent, you'll lie back. Then once you have positioned yourself in the center of the mat, you'll remove your glasses. You'll roll your outer arms down so that you feel the shoulder blades supporting you on the floor. And then on an exhalation, you'll stretch one leg and then the other. Once the legs have extended, release your inner thighs away from each other. Let your inner heel release toward your outer heel. Let your toes release from the big toe toward the pinky. Feel the broadness across the collarbone. And just focus on your breath. Close your eyes. Slow, smooth, steady inhalation. Long, slow, smooth exhalation. As you lie in your Shavasana, resting from all of the work that you've done, notice your breath. And gradually, over the course of the next several breaths, let your exhalation get longer. Slow, smooth, steady inhalation. Long, slow, smooth exhalation. Focusing some attention on that pause following the exhalation, that moment when nothing is happening. Letting the muscles release down into the floor, releasing against the structure of the body, against the bones. As you observe that pause, notice that moment when nothing is happening.
where the exhalation is completely released, as if you almost have an indifference to the inhalation coming back in. When you're ready to come back, taking as much time as you need, you bring your hands to your abdomen, any place, to your trunk, any place that brings comfort. And then bend your knees one at a time. And then roll to your right side, supporting your head with your hands or with a blanket. Rest there with your eyes closed. And then open your eyes and roll toward the floor using your hands. Push yourself back up to a seated position, letting your head come up. Namaste.
Namaste.